Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be sharing 4 really fun DIYs that you can incorporate into your home for the holidays. The best part is all of these DIYs start with items you can find at the Dollar Tree. So make sure you stick around and subscribe. It's going to be a fun video. Also, if you haven't visited our home fragrance line at elmanco.com, be sure to grab your holiday scents before they sell out. If you'd like to see more home and behind the scenes, you can also find me at Valerie Aguiar on Instagram. Okay, so jumping into our first DIY, I found this little cutie star at the Dollar Tree, obviously $1, and it has some kind of like snowy type stuff on it, maybe some little sequins. So I am just going to scrape all that off and it will just leave kind of like a flat plastic on there. It is on the front and the back, so it only takes a couple minutes to scrape this off. I just used my nail and then I did get like the side of a fork and it scrapes off really easily. So there is some on the inside, but that doesn't really matter. I'm just going to leave that in there. You could also crack it open and scrape the insides off if you wanted to, but I am not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it as kind of that flat plastic. And then I'm going to take it outside and spray some flat black spray paint all over it. And I want to do this because I want it to have a good base that's going to kind of be peeking through the paint and what we do with it in a couple seconds. So I only did 1 coat of black spray paint. It was a little bit colder outside, so it takes a little bit longer. If you set it in the sun, that definitely helps. And then I flipped it over once that side was dry and then just sprayed the other side really quick. So this is what it looked like when the spray paint was dry, and I know it looks a little scary for a Christmas project, but I promise it shapes up to look really cute. So you can see kind of all those little sequins on the inside. I think it adds a little bit of character. To me, it almost looks kind of like rusted or like there's something on there, so I think it just adds to the character. So I found this paint at Hobby Lobby. It's about $1. It's the Anitas in Woodsy Smoke. This has been my go-to color this holiday season. I really love this color. So I'm just going to dab that on with a little foam brush, not really brushing it on, we're kind of dabbing it on so it gives it kind of that I don't know, dabbed look. I'm not really sure. So I just put this all over the front and the back of the star, and I did notice if you wanted to just leave it as is, once it dries, it kind of does have like a rusted look, especially this color. It just gives it that really aged look, so you could definitely stop after the paint if you didn't want any sparkle, but I'm going to go ahead and add some gold just to kind of give it a little bit of holiday sparkle. I have also been using this. This is the Rub and Buff in the gold leaf, and I have used this over and over and over again, and I'm still on the same little tube, so a little goes a long way. So I just used the same foam brush. I washed it, dried it, and then I'm using the same one over to apply the Rub and Buff. So I'm just going to put a little bit on and then rub it on. You really want to start with just a little bit at first. If you put too much, you'll completely cover your whole thing in gold, which I kind of like a little bit of the brown and the black to peek through. So yeah, definitely start out with less, and then you can add on as you go. So to get the star to stay up in the tree, I added a bamboo skewer to the back using a hot glue gun, and these are also $1 at Walmart, and I just hot glued it right onto the back. It slips completely right through that star perfectly, so I just hot glued it and then added some Rub and Buff onto that to kind of camouflage it in there. You can also add a little wire or something to kind of secure it to a limb or something like that if you wanted it perfectly secure. That's our little elf who showed up wearing a cowboy hat and with a little horse for the kids. And for the next DIY, I found this little wreath in the craft section at the Dollar Tree. They also have a lot of really cute ribbons. This black and gold caught my eye. They also have a really pretty kind of reddish mauve color, although that one is a little bit translucent. But they also have some really cute lace and the little gingham. There's so many options. So if you needed ribbon, there is really inexpensive ribbon at Dollar Tree too. So these wreaths you can do a lot of different things with. I also thought of spray painting this kind of a darker brown color, but I eventually just decided to keep it the natural color and wrap it in this extra ribbon that I have. I also have some extra cypress branches. I found these at Trader Joe's weeks ago, and I just keep them in water and use them around the house for the holiday season. So they're a really great deal. So I just put a little dab of hot glue on that wreath, and then I'm going to just take my ribbon and keep wrapping it around and around and around the wreath until it's completely covered. And what I love about this is that if I get tired of this wreath, or I don't want to use it, or I even want to take it apart next season, my ribbon is still going to hold up and still be usable for next time. So by only gluing the very beginning and the very end, I feel like it kind of saves your ribbon and you can reuse it later. So I just wrapped the entire thing around that little wreath, and then I'm going to dab a little bit of glue for the very end part, wrap it around and secure it on there, and cut off that little piece with my really dull scissors. I loved these branches just because they have the little yellow kind of seedling things on them, so they go perfect with this ribbon. This ribbon is from Amazon too, so I will link that if you guys are interested, but I just wanted to make it very, very simple, and I love the idea of a very simple wreath hanging on like a little closet door. So I'm just going to take some of that same ribbon and wrap a little bit around the center of those branches there, and then I will hot glue that little part into place. So if your branches do not want to kind of like stay upward, you can also attach a little bit of floral wire or some type of wire that you have to secure them in place. I'm gonna add a little bow. I need to brush up on my bow making skills. I am terrible at making bows. So I'm just going to attach that bow with a little bit of hot glue and then make kind of a cute little tail on these ribbon. And then this is the floral wire. They just kind of were hanging a little bit, so I'm going to attach a little bit of wire to secure them, make them kind of go upward. And I think it is so simple and very cute for the closet door in our entryway. These would also be super cute on the back of like a bar stool or some dining chairs. I love this simple idea. So for the next DIY, I found these also at Dollar Tree. They're just the clear plastic ornaments, and these are the larger ones. They also do carry the smaller ones in a 2-pack as well for $1. So I'm just going to take the tops off and then put them upside down outside and give them a spray with some matte white spray paint. I like to do this because it just starts off the ornament with kind of a matte base, and the white just makes it kind of a blank canvas. They also have matte white ornaments at Hobby Lobby. I have done a very similar DIY on my channel. I will link that above. But yeah, it's kind of the same project with just a different type of ornament. So again, I am using the Woodsy Smoke from Hobby Lobby. This has been my favorite color this holiday season. And so yeah, I'm going to use that on this ornament and just give it about 2 layers. I'm going to do 1 layer, let it dry, and then another layer. You could do a 3rd layer as well. That would definitely help. And I'm just going to brush this on using a foam brush. I kind of do more brushing type motions, not dabbing this time. So this is after the 2nd coat. Like I said, 2 coats pretty much covers it, which is good enough. And then I'm going to take the Rub and Buff in Gold Leaf. I have used this many times this season already, and just kind of brush it on and give it lots of sparkle for the Christmas tree. I like the way that this Rub and Buff goes on. It kind of gives it that antiqued look with the brown peeking through. So I'm going to use the same Rub and Buff on the top, just so that everything matches. You could leave it silver, but I feel like once you put that little gold top on, it really pulls everything together and looks like a really cute antiqued little ornament. So this is the ornament in brown. I also have done them in blue, which is really pretty. I'll leave the colors that I used below in the description if you're wondering, but that one has a lot more gold on it. So they're all different, but they all look really pretty. And for the next DIY, I'm going to use some of this poster paper I found at the Dollar Tree. It's like 79 cents for a piece. So I grabbed like 3 or 4 of them, and I am going to use the gold because it has kind of a coating on that gold side. So I feel like it will kind of help with what I'm going to be making. So I'm just taking the poster paper and I'm going to kind of curl it around, although this one is done backwards because I want it going the other way, but I'll show you in a second. So I'm just going to curl it around and make like a cone type shape, and you can do this in any size you'd like. I kind of wanted a little bit larger, but not super large, for these kind of coned Christmas trees out of cement. So I'm just going to kind of cut this around, and then I'm going to take some masking tape and secure that cone shape. So you just kind of have to play around with it until you get that shape. They also have some kind of cardboard cones at Hobby Lobby. I haven't been able to find them, but maybe you guys could, but that would totally skip this entire step of having to create your own cone. So I'm just taping up that top piece. If the cement doesn't get all the way to the top, that's okay. I kind of sand them down anyway. I'm just going to cut off the excess part, and it really doesn't matter if they are perfectly symmetrical on the top, because I don't fill them all the way. So I actually made 3 different little cones in kind of varying sizes, one large, medium, and kind of a smaller one. I feel like they look really cute in a batch of 3 or even 2. And if you noticed, I wrapped the cones so that the gold part was on the inside. That's kind of what I was talking about with that coating. I feel like it helps the cement maybe not stick to it as much if it were like paper. I don't think it really matters, but I think it does help kind of hold the shape of the cone. So I just set the cones up in a little box that I had. I want to make sure I have all of this stuff ready for when I mix the concrete, because I'm using quick dry, so it does dry super fast. You want to have all your stuff ready before you start mixing your concrete. So this Quikrete is from like Home Depot. I think it was like $5 for a big bag. I use it all the time. Also, the Quikrete does have little rocks in it, so I like to pull the rocks out. You can also use like a strainer or like an old sifter or something like that to pull all the rocks out. But yeah, it just makes it a little bit smoother. So once I pour that in, I'm just going to tap the sides really well. Make sure that you get all those little air bubbles out, and then I'm going to do the other 2, kind of tap them out. Depending on how much Quikrete you make, it does dry really fast, so just an FYI, you have to work fast. So here are all 3 of the trees. You can see I didn't really fill that big one all the way up, although I probably could have. So yeah, I'm just gonna let those dry. They dry pretty fast, about an hour or 2, and they can be unwrapped. So being very gentle, as they are not 100% like cured yet, but yeah, you can definitely unwrap them. And then after I unwrapped them, I just placed them like out in the open to fully cure. I let them cure about a whole day or so, just to make sure that they were ready before I start like sanding or anything. So some of the tops did break off, I think on 2 out of the 3, which is fine. You can just sand them down and it kind of hides it. So I wasn't too worried about that, but so I used a 150 grit sandpaper. This is all that I had. I would recommend using something like a 220 that's really, really fine. This kind of roughed them up. It left them looking okay, but I would definitely recommend using a 220. I think they have that at the Dollar Tree as well. So I just sanded the bottom to smooth out kind of those rougher edges right along the bottom, and then there was a seam kind of right in the middle where the cardboard met, so I smoothed that out with the sandpaper as well. And then I just took a little bit of copper metallic paint that I had. I would have also used gold, but I didn't have any gold, so I just mixed a little bit of the paint with water so it got a little bit runny, and then I just splashed it on. Very, very subtle and really cute. I like that little sparkle that it adds. You can also dip your brush in the watered down paint and use kind of the bristles for a smaller splash. It doesn't leave kind of those like splatters. It's just a little bit more subtle, whatever way you like, but I feel like these are super modern, super cute, perfect for a mantle, an entryway, coffee table. Very, very simple, cute idea. So that's going to be it. Let me know in the comments below which idea was your favorite, and make sure you're subscribed. We have a lot more holiday content coming, and with that, we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.